Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Talking About Success. I'm Jack Canfield, your host. My next guest is Benita. He's an author, speaker, and hero to thousands of families affected by the real estate crash of 2006. A survival of divorce and financial crisis himself, Ben's first best-selling book, Learning to Swim in the Short Sale Ocean, gave thousands of realtors around the world the tools they needed to help homeowners begin to recover from this historic financial meltdown. So how did you get started in this business of helping people with short sales?
I actually got started on accident. It's been a blessing. When I got started in real estate back in 2003, I wanted to be like Donald Trump. Don't want to talk politics, of course, but I wanted to be the rich real estate guy. I wanted to have the big house, the cars, the fancy everything. So we started investing, buying and flipping houses in 2003. We were making crazy, really good money in 2003. 2003, 2004, and then 2005, we actually ended up in bankruptcy. I tell everybody when I speak about this, we followed all the financial gurus, and everybody says you need to have 6 months in reserves. We religiously had 6 months in reserves. 6 months doesn't help when you need 9 or 10 months. We burned through our 6 months of cash, and next thing you know, I ended up in bankruptcy. There were a lot of financial issues, so I was kind of forced into the short sale, forced to learn about short sales, I guess, on my own, because at the time we lost 11 properties. Some stuff we were buying and selling, just we weren't able to sell it because we owed more on the properties than they were worth, so we needed to do short sales. At the time, I didn't know much at all about short sales, but I could see, I live in Virginia, about a half hour outside of Washington, D.C. There are a lot of people in my situation. They owed a lot of money on houses. They owed $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 on houses that were only worth, at the time, we're only selling for $300,000 or $400,000. So I said, hey, instead of being the real estate flip guy, I'm going to get into short sales. So again, we're kind of forced into it, but I again saw the niche when I was trying to do short sales myself. I was reaching out to attorneys, agents, a lot of folks I know, and nobody seemed to have any answers to short sales. So I thought, hey, that's going to be my new niche. I can still, keep my feet and stay in real estate. And so I decided to be, the short sale guy. So I went every seminar, every webinar, everything I could find about short sales. Again, I just studied a lot and talked to a lot of people. So we got into the short sale business, and that was back in 2005 when the markets were turning. So
You've been an expert on that ever since.
Yeah, the E word still makes me feel funny, but yeah, I would say we're as good as anybody in the country. I'm always all about going, all in, being the best, doing everything I can to be the best. And again, going through the short sales, as I was able to help people and get them through similar situations to what I'd gone through. Again, it just got me really addicted to helping people. A lot of the folks that go through short sales are going through a divorce, somebody's lost a job. Even to this day, at least once or twice a month, I get literally a grown man, a grown woman on the phone will call me in tears. Hey, Ben, I'm about to lose my house. My wife doesn't know. I'm going through divorce. And it's been fantastic being able to help people get through those situations. And again, having gone through it personally myself, it's great to relate to people and kind of say, hey, I know what it's like to get the threatening phone calls, get the knocks on the door, the collection calls, and it just gets crazy. And as stressful as it's been dealing with banks and short sales, when you're able to get somebody through that situation, it's just incredible, just better than any real estate transaction I've ever done. It's so amazing, when people look at us, as you obviously know, and people come and say, hey, you saved my marriage, you saved my life. I was scared to death. I didn't know what I was going to do. And again, almost by accident, really was, by accident, I got into short sales, and it's been fantastic. It's.
Now, we were talking before we came on air about some stories that were pivotal in your moving through that. Share those with our viewers.
Yeah, there's some, I try not to cry during the sad ones. One of the funnier ones, as we all know, I was married at the time. I'm divorced now. A lot of us go, after we watch TV, after a hard day at work, you go to your spouse, you're feeling frisky, hey, let's go upstairs and get in bed. And you, as a married guy, you figure, hey, man, I'm going to get lucky, things are going to go good. And there was a time, probably for 3 or 4 months, we were behind on our car payments, where literally I'd set the candles, turn the music on, I think we're going to get romantic, and I go to put the moves on my wife, and she's like, did you put the screwdriver in the garage door? And what that was all about was we'd found out that when you're behind on payments, we were told this by an attorney, if you're behind on payments, if the repo guy can open your garage door, that he can open the garage door and tow your car and pull it out. So before bed every night, one of us would have to go and take a screwdriver, and the way the garage door is set up, you could put a screwdriver in it. So if the screwdriver's in the garage door, nobody could lift the garage door up. So it got to be a joke. It wasn't funny at the time, but something we went through was part of the trauma. Some of, I guess, the more sad stories. I had to sell my wife's wedding ring. That's a hard conversation to have with your wife. Yeah, I didn't want to cry talking about this, but the biggest moment, the toughest moment for me was, I'm gonna cry. For 2 Christmases, I was in line. We were one of the families, like when you go to church and you put up that you want a bike for your kid, or your daughter wants a Barbie or something. We were that family where we were on the receiving end of that, and I'm gonna cry. For 2 Christmases, I remember standing in line, waiting to pick up gifts for my kids, and thinking to myself, I was like, what? Before that, I was like, I'm gonna be the rich guy and all this and all that. And again, I found myself standing in that line and just thinking, like, what the hell happened to me? Like, I'm so far off. As like, I want to be, make the money, but there's a couple of moments like that were obviously stuff I'll never forget. It's just sort of a gut check time. Hey, there's people out there going through this. And for me personally, I was like, hey, Ben, you can do better than this. You shouldn't be in this line. You're smart enough, bright enough, ambitious enough, certainly more than capable of making money, helping people out. And looking back now, I'm glad I went through it, because again, that whole situation put a lot of things in perspective. Like, so when I get in real estate, it was all about me. I wanted the big house for me, the money for me, and going through that. Now it's like, hey, that stuff's nice, but there's a lot of people that have things a lot worse than you that we were on food stamps and stuff too. And like I said, when you can help those people out, that became my new why, my new moment, my new reason for, here's why I get up, here's why I'm going to push, here's why I'm going to take those chances, try a little harder than the next guy, because I want to help those people that I helped through the short sales. I'll never forget those people that I was standing in line with. Like, it just so, those moments again just kind of defined me. Like, hey, Ben, get your shit together and get your priorities straight. It's not about you and the money. You were put here to help people get through this, show them how to get through tough situations, motivate them, inspire them. And going through that tough time, it's absolutely helped make me who I am, today. And it's just, again, looking back now, I'm definitely thankful I went through those times, but it's rough.
It is, but it also, as we talked about earlier, gives you the compassion, the empathy to know what it's like.
Yeah.
And it's the inspiration, or it's the motivation that really drives you, because you know how much pain there is there and how much you can make a difference.
Exactly.
Now, you use the word inspiration and motivation. I know you make a distinction between goals, motivation, and inspiration. Talk about that.
I think, I don't like the word goals, because I think a lot of people, it seems very cliche. I think people really don't want, when I do some of my workshops, I talk to people, I do still use the word goals sometimes, what do you want? Like, want to be a millionaire? And you go through a series of questions, and usually it's not, they don't just want $1 million. They want the money because they want to help that family member. And rather than say goals, I try to tell them to set moments. Like, what moment are you living for? Is it, you want to walk out to your mailbox and see your bank statement says you have $1 million so you can, leave your job? Or are you looking to step on that scale one day and have that moment and see that, that ideal weight hits? Are you looking to, be a better father and have your, your son or your daughter come up and give you a big hug and say, Dad, you motivate me, you inspire me, I'm proud of you. So I try to get people through a series of questions to find out that moment they're living for, rather than, I just want the new car. Well, do you want that car because you want people to, respect you, people to think you're successful? And I think when you can tie an emotion into that, I guess goal, use the word goal, that end result, I think people tend to be a lot more motivated and inspired by it versus just saying, here's something on a piece of paper. Like, I call it 51 Shades of Benita. I have them put on a blindfold, so when you close your eyes, you can really exist and really get into that moment. And again, where you can take them there and say, hey, when you wake up, are you working on your relationship? Or when you wake up, you're walking out to your mailbox and you're opening your bank statement and, it says you have $1 million in the bank. And like I said, I found that to be a lot more powerful than just writing it down. And even something else I preach a lot about too, it's being able to think about it a lot. Like, try to surround yourself with people that are going to keep you on task. I'm a big fan of vision boards, but I think the reason people do vision boards or why they're suggested is because it keeps that stuff in your mind. It makes you think about, hey, I want that house, I want that relationship, or I want to, be a pro football player so I can, do X, Y, and Z for mom or my family or something. So when I speak, I'm a lot more about moments, and I try not to use the word goals as much. Just more,
Right.
there's emotion and stuff that ties to it. As soon as we,
Yeah, I think too. What I hold that is that we're really looking for things to give us an experience. It's the experience
exactly,
we're looking for, not
Yeah.
the thing itself.
exactly.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I wish we had a whole hour. We don't. So
I do too.
here, you talk to people a lot. I mean, you're more than the real estate short sale guy. You are really someone who's been through it and knows how to uplift, inspire, and motivate people to go for the intrinsic rewards in life,
Absolutely.
not just the
Not just-
superficial. So as you're looking at all these people that are watching you right now, what advice would you have? What comes top of mind that you'd like to share with people?
My biggest, and I don't like the word secret either, because I think secrets are something you try to keep from people. So I don't think there's a secret to anything. I think the trick, or what you need to do to be successful at losing the weight, getting the girl, getting the money, being a better parent, is being able to control what you think about. There's a good book, I know you've heard of it, Success Principles. I got that probably 8 or 9 years ago, and the very first thing you mentioned was take 100% responsibility for, all your actions, and I live by that. I preach that to everybody I know and meet now, and I think that you need to be responsible for what you think about. Earl Nightingale, was it called The Strangest Secret? I think was the movie
that's
he
right.
did. And it really is that simple. A lot of people just don't stop and think, how can I be a better husband? How can I be a better father? How can I make more money? A lot of people complain, my relationship's bad, I don't feel like a good parent. And when I ask them, when's the last time you bought a book or read an article on how to be a better father? Well, I never have. Well, then, do you really, are you really committed to being a better father? And that's why I think, and again, I do workshops on this, being able to control what you think about. I think the best way to do that, one of the best quotes I've ever heard and still live by, you tend to be the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Just like being here with you, I know if there were 5 Jack Canfields and I met you, saw you every day, guess what? My life's going to go up, 100-fold. One of the best examples I'd heard with that as well is, if you hang around 5 athletes, 5 people that you get up and go for a jog every morning, and you're that guy who's going out and drinking every night and eating donuts and pizza, not doing that. If you're hanging around the athletes, you're probably going to be more motivated to, go exercise. Same thing if you hang around 5 people that have great relationships, you're probably going to want to, blend in there. So that my best advice would be either find mentors or find some positive people that are helping you, pulling you forward, and not people that are necessarily pulling you back. So I think, the more you think about where you want to go, that experience you want to have, whether it's, again, being a better father, changing the world, motivating, inspiring people, you're a lot more likely to succeed versus, and I'm still guilty of it too, unfortunately. There's sometimes I go 2 or 3 days where I'm just not thinking about, writing or speaking or helping people as much as I should. And it bugs me because I get off track, but it's definitely, the more you think about it, the more likely you are to succeed, and
Sure.
I'm 100% big believer in that.
So we're running out of time. I have one more question for you.
Yep.
So if I could grant you a wish, if I was a genie, a stingy genie, one wish,
Which one?
not
One
3,
wish, just one? Gee.
what would you wish for from me?
My goal, my dream, if I had a magic wand, would be to bring my motivational experiences to people all over the country. I use a church example because I like to establish a place where people can go, whether you're a CEO making millions of dollars or a single mom barely getting by, where you could go at least once or twice a week and hear motivational stories like the Chicken Soup books, obviously, that you've done. I've become a huge fan of, YouTube videos, the motivational, inspirational, the stories of people, that have gone through these things. I love to get all that out to the world, and I wish I had your magic wand, could wave that and hear, get these stories, get these motivation, inspiration, people who are thinking about quitting and giving up. Because I've gone through some dark times, had some, rough thoughts. You think about doing crazy things, but you get through because you hear other people that maybe aren't as smart or aren't as this or aren't as that, but they got through it. It's like, hey, if he can do it, if she can do it, he was homeless or she used to, eat out of trash cans. Like, if they can get it through, then, certainly I can. And I want to be, again, an inspiration to everybody. I want to get that message out. Hey, don't quit, don't give up. It's better. It's just, when you get through it,
Right.
it's just, I want to help people.
Well,
Committed, fully
you're a
committed to it.
beautiful man with a big heart.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And also a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. So if someone wanted to hire you as a speaker or get in touch with you for counseling, consulting, whatever it might be, how do they do that?
I have 2 websites. You can go to benbenita.com or ifoundmymoment.com.
benbenita.com and ifoundmymoment.com.
Yep.
It's all about moments. Very good.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
sharing your
Appreciate
wisdom with us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, if you want to know about how to get through the difficult times, especially in the real estate world, but also in any challenging time, this is a man who can help you do that. So go to his website. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this message.